This meeting is being recorded.
Am I on? I can't see myself.
You are on, and I'm going to turn on your camera, Aminta. Just give me one moment.
Okay.
All right, we see you. You're good to go. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Aminta St. Onge, and just as Lauren mentioned, I've been teaching yoga for Parkinson's since 2013. And from the beginning to current date, it's become kind of like my mission to figure out ways that gentle yoga and different aspects of yoga can help those with Parkinson's and their caregivers overall. So what I want to talk about today is a subject referred to as mindfulness and meditation. So a lot of times people hear this and they are confused. They don't know what the difference is, or, you know, they also associate, sometimes we associate like meditation with us sitting in a Indian style position for long hours. And I just want you to know that's not what it is. So let me get to the next slide. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing all of your attention to the present moment. And what I love that quote. And when I found it, I wanted to share it. And the reason is because for those of you that have attended one of my yoga classes, the one thing that is key in yoga is that we set a time for us to find stillness, for us to find that point where we actually disconnect from everything on the outside world so that we can look inward. And that might be something as simple as just turning your phone off, the TV off, sitting down, or there are different methods, obviously. So mindfulness is something that, and I welcome any questions, things like that. I'm sure Lauren is handling that. But when I think about mindfulness, based on my experience and my training, I've simplified it to calling it the observer, the witness. And what that means to any of us practicing is that we become very aware of the present moment. It means that we're not thinking about our grocery list. We're not thinking about the next time that we have to call for a doctor's appointment or anything like that. We're thinking about that particular moment. And when we think about that moment, what happens is effectively we've lost our past and we've lost our future. We're right here in this present moment, which is actually incredibly beneficial to the brain. And the other part of being mindful is being able, you'll see here it says nurturing lens. Well, it is a nurturing lens because you're not looking inward so that you can judge yourself, but you're looking to see how you feel. You're making that connection, that mind-body connection that you hear of whenever you do, when you hear someone speaking about yoga. But to be fully present and to be aware of what you're doing. A good example that I like to use right now when I say that is my mother. She's not quite 80, and sometimes she's in a rush. And when she's in a rush, she's not paying attention to where she's going. She's just going as fast as she can. This is where we become aware of what we're doing. We slow down long enough to take in that environment that is supporting us at that particular moment, and making sure that we're safe, making sure that, you know, we see what is there as opposed to thinking about something else. Non-reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on. This is key here, and it takes a while. And what happens is I like to compare this to knee-jerk reactions and being able to take a step back. This is something that takes time. It has to do with the more that you practice mindfulness and meditation, you strengthen your prefrontal cortex, and it allows you to create a voice of reason is what I call it, that ability to separate yourself from a situation so you just don't jump into it, or you don't throw yourself into an anxiety attack. It's just being able to kind of just calm the waters so that you can figure out what your next step is going to be. Paying attention without judgment. That is something that we definitely have to work on. As a teacher, I'm constantly working on it, because we get stuck on what we used to could do. And so if it doesn't look that way right now, we end up thinking, well, that's just not good enough, or I wish I could do it like I did before. So when we are talking about mindfulness, what I want you to think about is just being present, not judging, and being connected. One of the things that I talk about a lot is being connected to your senses, what you see, what you hear, how it impacts you, and how you feel overall. There are different approaches to mindfulness, and you'll see them here. One's meditation. Meditation is a tool for mindfulness. You've got body scans, you've got mindful movement practices, slowing down, taking a pause, and tuning into the present without rehashing what's the past and thinking about what's going to come. And when I say tuning in, I don't know how many of you remember this, but back in the day, before before digital and computers and everything, when we would want a particular radio station, you had the dial, and we had to kind of hit it at the right place so we could hear our music. Well, I want you to think about we've got that dial, and we are tuning into where we are at this particular moment, because that's going to be, that's our foundation to this mindfulness and meditation approach. So anyway, so moving on. Now, the benefits to meditation: it reduces stress, it enhances your performance, and more than anything, you become very aware. I think that if we're going to look at it from a scientific perspective, I encourage all of you to look up on the Mayo Clinic, and you're going to be able to take this. And I've got some, I put some resources for you at the end of the presentation where you can look up, and there are studies where they've actually put individuals into MRI machines, and they've had them meditate, and then they've had the other people just get into the MRI machine. And what they've noticed is that the gray matter in the brain, the gray matter is something that helps us with cognitive development, with the response, reaction response thing that we go through before we open our mouth. But what it does is it shows how it actually has the ability, the neuroplasticity is what I was thinking about. It has the ability to help us reshape and strengthen the way that we approach things with time. And the research is incredible, because the well-being that it is offering you is so beneficial to those with Parkinson's and neurological disorders. I like to think of mindfulness and meditation, and I may repeat this again, so please be patient, is that what I'm doing is I'm unplugging from the outside world, and now I'm plugging into me. And I'm allowing myself the opportunity to not worry, to not stress, to be here and give my brain a break. So it's amazing how our worries and our stress can impact our brain and how we function on a daily basis. So now we have meditation. So what I want everybody to, first things first, when I heard meditation, I thought to myself, that's never going to happen. And I was already a teacher. I had read about it, we practiced, and it just wasn't anything that really spoke to me. And I was okay with it. And what has happened is that as I continued to research and learn more about meditation, even integrating it in my own life, the benefits of meditation to my parkies has been an incredible thing to witness. It's allowed them it allows you the opportunity to just disconnect, because obviously there are concerns, there's symptoms and things that are all going on neurologically, but to be able to be disconnected, like I said, back connected to yourself. I've actually, in some of my classes, I've had meditation, I've integrated it in there, and I've watched individuals who are dealing with exacerbated tremors, and I've watched the tremors just kind of, they're still there, but they've slowed down. So what I feel that meditation helps a lot with is taking you out of the fast lane and putting you into the regular lane where the speed is going to be a little bit friendlier for yourself. Meditation is also something that a lot of people like to think that, hey, I don't have an hour to meditate. Well, for those of you, I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Harmon. He was with Good Morning America, and he was an anchor, and he relied on meditation to help him through stress and things. And he actually has a 1-minute meditation. And I thought that that was really cool. We don't have to sit in a cross-legged position and hold a special form. You can be in your recliner. You can be comfortable and just practice breathing, counting your breaths. And that is a form of meditation that will allow you to begin the process of training the mind to focus on one thing instead of, multitasking in our brain, which is something that society has made it kind of apparent that that's all we're going to focus on many times. So intentional focus, and also being able to, when you have this time that you are able to decrease the stress from the brain load, when you have the ability to do that, what you're actually doing is you're refreshing the mind, and you're letting it get a break. So as a result, now when you stop your medication, you're able to manage things a little bit better. It's like constructive rest in another is another way of comparing it to that. Now, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. As an individual that has been diagnosed with ADHD, I can tell you sitting still was one of the most difficult things for me to do. I felt like I had to keep going. I couldn't stop. And it almost gave me anxiety to sit still. But starting with a 1-minute meditation, focusing on the breathing, practicing the yoga, all of that together allowed me to find that place where I can be okay and reset. Again, I was talking about a dial on a radio. Now I'm going to talk about Control-Alt-Delete. Some of the younger generation doesn't necessarily know that one either, but Control-Alt-Delete allows us to reboot, to reset. And sometimes it's important that we create, just like we brush our teeth in the morning or take your medication at a certain time. It doesn't hurt for you to be able to, hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes to practice my breathing right now because I'm not doing anything else. And again, it helps. It's a great, great tool. There are different types of meditation techniques, and there is no right or wrong. One of my teachers, when I was struggling with the whole meditation thing, made the huge mistake of telling me I was doing it wrong. And that just sent me in all kinds of different directions. And I'm going to tell you, keep it simple. And there is no wrong. There's your version that you can work on and you can customize to what best serves you. You'll see on this list here, you'll see spiritual meditation. Some people, they don't like the word meditation, and that's fine. But I'm like, can you pray? And, we can get lost in prayer, and that's a great thing. The rosary, that's another type of meditation that, you can go into repetitive prayer and have the ability to be comfortable in your own setting with whatever best serves you. Mindfulness meditation, that's body scanning. And we are going to practice some body scanning at the end of this presentation. Movement meditation, walking, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. How does that work? Is you become very present. If you are walking, you're noticing it's like you are turning on all of your senses on high, and you're allowing your body to just absorb the birds singing, the fresh air, and so on. So that's a movement type of thing. If you're Tai Chi, Qigong, those are beautiful, beautiful things to do. And also yoga. Yoga, obviously, I'm the yoga teacher, so I'm going to promote it. Yoga has the gift of breath that you can focus on. And I always make the joke, there's not a copay for it. You just breathe. You learn some breathing techniques, and then you learn how to move with the breath. And I always say that the breath has a voice of reason. Focus meditation. Some people have asked me, hey, Aminta, can you, what's focus meditation? I'm like, well, if you have a picture of your favorite place, or maybe you have a picture of your grandchild. And what you do is you sit there and you allow that to be your focal point for 1 minute, for 5 minutes, and allow your thoughts to nourish that versus everything else in the outside world. Visualization meditation. You're going to, I'm going to walk you through that as well, because that one allows you to, actually, it allows you, I like visualization meditation because it allows me to travel. It allows me to go to a place where I can recreate a feeling that energizes me and that gives me some substance and makes me feel good. Chanting meditation. So some people are like, well, I don't want to chant, and you don't have to. But if everybody can recall the little engine that could, and the little engine that could, I think I can, I think I can, I can, I can, I can, I did. Even that is a form of meditation. I have had plenty of my classes where I ask them to just tell themselves, I am whole, I am complete, and it's again, this is something that you can customize. I am not telling you that this is what you see or what you're reading is perfect and it's going to work for you. I actually have a student of mine who has a cat, and he said, I came up with my own meditation. And I said, so, okay. And he said, I pet my cat and I meditate. I said, awesome, great, because that's very soothing. I mean, I have a little Pomeranian, and it's very soothing and healing to just be there with your pet, and it feels good. So again, it's allowing yourself to nourish yourself in such a way that's easy. You don't have to go anywhere, unless you want to, but you are allowed to create what's best works for you. And working in the garden, that's a huge one. I have lots of people that love flowers and love gardening, and that's I'm going to meditate. All they're doing is going to go pull weeds, and I say all they're doing, but they're actually creating their own source of energy to kind of regroup and reset. The benefits of meditation. I've spoken to you about the mindfulness meditation, the mindfulness and the mindfulness benefits. You've got your benefits of meditation. I want to say that it's different for different people. But the one thing that I like that mesmerizes me is how it impacts the nervous system and how it impacts the brain. That to me is indicative of the importance of allowing yourself to create your version, whatever it is, to be able to integrate it into your day and let your body reap the benefits. When we practice meditation and we're using mindfulness, I believe that there is a way that, for me and my experience with the students that I have worked with, is there's a sense of gaining a little more control. Like I'm becoming really aware. And in the past, I believe I've read that pre-COVID meditation had actually increased, a number of people had increased by 20%. But I was reading something earlier this week, and it had increased from 60 to 80% since COVID. And that tells me that we're becoming more aware, and people are struggling out there. COVID has not been friendly. And I don't want to get too far into that, but it has had an impact on our health, on our mind, and a way of alleviating that stress that we tend to sometimes I call it the hamster wheel, go over and over again. It allows, again, disconnecting from the chaos and connecting to my voice of reason so that I can be stronger when I connect back. So it is something that I think that in a world where we can't control almost anything, meditation can give us strength with regard to how we respond and how we react and how we observe the world in such a way so that it doesn't have such a negative impact on us at different times. Now, telephone apps. I chose this. I had links, and then I thought, no, we're just going to do telephone apps. If you have a telephone, there are definitely telephone apps that allow you to listen to meditation. And they have different kinds of meditations. There's sleep meditations, there's sleep, there's stress, anxiety, sadness. There's all kinds that can help you. And you can go on some of these are free. And most of them are free. And then if you want more, then they start to cost you. So just get them and use the free portion. But 10% is the one that you'll see noted up there. And that's the one that Dan Harmon from Good Morning America created. That's his app. And he's the one that believes in the 1 minute. You can meditate for 1 minute. Headspace is one that a few of my students actually have told me about, and they like it. And I have used it for sleeping because it helps me just at that time of night and whatnot. Breathing. We need to do it. So why not do it in a way that it best serves us when we need to find that calm? You can come to one of my classes. I'm in Zoom once a week, but there are, I know that Headspace and Calm, that meditation app, they have breathing meditations available to you. And that's a good thing too. YouTube videos. If you want to go online, you can look up, there's a plethora of them. You want to be able to find something that speaks to you. And I'm going to be the first one to say, it's not going to be the same for everyone. And as we were talking about mindfulness, as I was mentioning before, it's the observer, it's the witness of everything around you. If finding appropriate meditation that best suits you is going to make you frustrated, then you're already you're already negating the experience. But I encourage you, just like the student that that told me that he just pets his cat. I thought that's wonderful. So just keep that in mind. It can be a lot of different things. You are going to there's my information. PAX has this and we'll be sending it out to whomever. If you have questions, I am available by phone. I'm in class a lot, so I sometimes will have to call you after class, but you can email me with your questions, and I will be happy to help you and make recommendations as far as what I've already shared. I'm going to stop share. And Lauren, that was the presentation. So do you have any questions?
If anyone does have any questions, they can put those in the chat thread, or you can come off mic and ask Aminta any questions that you have at this time. So I'll just give it a few moments if anybody wants to ask a question. Donald, I just hit unmute. I did the request for you to come off mute so you can ask your question.
About now.
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
You had on one of the slides the issue of blood pressure reduction. Is that just a is there science behind that?
Yes, there is. With blood pressure, I've got, and actually that's one thing that I've heard a lot of my students. That's probably the most common thing that I've heard as feedback about their meditation. You can look up, and I can find some history with regard to that. But usually, a lot of my students have white coat syndrome, and their blood pressure skyrockets when they go to the doctor's office. And some of them have been practicing a breathing meditation, just the calming of while they're waiting in the waiting room. And they go in there and they swear by it. They're like, it works. So it is a tool. And I'm a big believer in that, because when they're taking my blood pressure, I'm breathing and practicing my own thing. I have good blood pressure though, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aminta. I don't see any other questions in the chat at this time, but if anyone does, you can raise your hand or you can type your question, then we'll just give it a couple more moments. Okay, well, if no one has any additional questions, then I will just take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for joining us. And Aminta, thank you so much for an excellent presentation. I'm going to stop the recording. And if anyone does have additional questions, you can reach out to Aminta directly, or you can send us an email at PAC and we can forward any questions you have. And I also encourage you to visit PAC's website under the How We Can Help section to learn about Aminta's many yoga classes throughout Charlotte and North and South Carolina, and then about other virtual programs we have and various support groups we have. So thank you all so much and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.